хотите смотреть наши видео на русском, вы можете смотреть их в Яндекс браузере на русском языке, там есть дубляж.
Walk. Let's walk a little bit faster. You're kind of in the shot. That's good. Got the mic there. All right. Is it green? Yes. Okay, good. So you're kind of like a smart person.
I'm smarter than you.
Why are you like in my face?
I'm just standing here. Are you ready?
Well, it feels awkward, like we're not, like we're
If you
smashing
like
into
this,
each
or
other.
like
No,
this?
I don't want it like that. Here is the name of the beer. You can read it on the side if you can read Russian. Both Josiah and I do not know how to say that.
Zhiguli.
Zhiguli?
Maybe.
Maybe Zhiguli.
We have here yazik goryaji atvarnoy, boiled beef tongue. It's literally a cow's tongue, if I'm understanding that correctly.
You are. I had it when I first came here to visit my girlfriend, Svetlana.
But I don't know if I go out of my way to buy this every morning.
Okay, of course, Josiah would say that. He always says that about everything. You ask him an opinion, and he will give an answer that allows him to go one way or the other on the choice. He never commits. Hello again, welcome to Expat American. I am the Expat American, and I'm with Josiah again, and today we're going to be doing our Russian bistros tasty. What is a bistro, you might ask? We're going to get to that. This is a sequel to our video, Is Russian Fast Food Tasty?, in which Josiah was the expert in Russian fast food. Today he is not the expert, today he is simply hungry. We are on Arbatskaya Street again, and we're gonna go to a couple different Russian bistros and eat some food. Not a lot of food, because if we're going to several places, we have to be careful of our tummies. And you might be asking, if you're a smart person, but Joe, isn't bistro a French word? And yes, bistro is a French word, which means like a small lunch quick cafe. But if you search deeper than that, it's actually a word that has its foundation in the Russian language. Apparently French people heard Russians talking about a quick bite to eat, and what's the Russian word for bistro? For quick, Josiah?
Well, I mean, you just said it's bistro, so.
Bistra, bistra, which means quick in Russian. So there you have it. Bistro is a Russian word. Well, it's a French word, but it was bistra, a Russian word. And where are we going, Josiah?
Chebu something CCCR, which we passed a while ago.
What? We passed it?
We did. Здравствуйте. Пожалуйста, один шартока, мясо по-французски.
Мясо по-французски, картофель пюре или гречку с луком?
Josiah and I ordered, well, Josiah ordered two items. One is here, the other one's on the way. So of course, like in the West, they give you a number and they'll come bring it to your table. And this is a typical Soviet image. Maybe someone can say in the comments if this is of a statue. Somewhere it looks like the statue outside of Etna, but I don't think it is. I don't think they're holding that up in the air. While we're waiting on our other food item, I wanted to show the lobby here. You've got red t-shirts that say SSSR on them, USSR, and then they have old Soviet video games here. This is another basement restaurant. There's lots of restaurants in Russia that are underground, I guess because of space. Well, in Moscow, because Moscow's a dense city. And so by the door here, on top of the stairs where you head down, there's old style Soviet pictures, and I guess these are things that people remember from their childhood that they would be sentimental about.
Alright, so what I have before me here is мясо по-французски с гречком, or French meat with buckwheat, I believe it is. I don't eat it very much myself. And then here we have a shotlotka, I think it was. The name comes from the word charlotte. You see, every civilization has its own variant of sweet fruits baked with bread, which we know as pie usually. And in fact, charlotte in France is a type of apple pie. However, Russians have made it so that there's more bread and less apple, and it has become a shotlotka with this powdered sugar on top. I myself am excited to try it because I'm not a huge pie fan myself. It's a little too moist for me, so this drier version should be good. Then here we have the French meat, мясо по-французски. I was wondering, so when I asked them for Russian recommendations on Russian food for this video, they said мясо по-французски, which, you know, it's French. That doesn't sound very Russian to me. So I looked into it, and apparently a French diplomat made the, or not a French, sorry, a Russian diplomat was in France, and a French chef cooked this meat for him. He brought it back, and now they have мясо по-французски, which is just a piece of meat with some Sechenol sauce, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, and onions, as well as potatoes usually. And then grechka, or buckwheat, everybody has it. I prefer French fries.
So this buckwheat, Josiah calls it, it is buckwheat. What's the Russian word again?
Grechka.
Grechka, okay. So you can find it in America at like specialty shops. It's rare. It has kind of like a pyramid shape to it. It's a grain. It's supposed to be really good for you. My Russian wife makes it all the time. I do eat it. I will be honest. Sorry to the Russian listeners. I'm not a big fan. I didn't grow up with it. Maybe if I did, it would be tastier. And I guess this is the Russian meat prepared by French people that Russians eat now that Josiah just talked about. Meat, cheese, cream. I think onions or mushrooms. Is that right? Cool.
I always felt a little bad watching my grandpa bake pies, which he did a lot, because I don't really like pie. So hopefully I can like this and send him the recipe. Oh, careful there. Yeah, just mostly bread. It's good.
Okay, Josiah, because he's a young person, he didn't want to eat vegetables or buckwheat, so I got to eat all of the main course, and now I'll get to try the pie that he tried. I'm an old person, so I'm not a big fan of lots of bread. It's not good for your physique. It's good. It's like a sweet pastry, kind of spongy. It's got like a sugar-crusted top.
You say it's healthier than pie?
No, pie is probably healthier because there's more fruit and less bread in a traditional American style pie.
Traditional American style pie is concentrated sugar.
An American might see the old Soviet symbol with the letters over it, and they might think that what they're reading is CCCP. But that is not the case because English uses a Latin alphabet and Russia uses a completely different alphabet. So what are they actually looking at?
I would say it's probably less about the alphabet, more about the translation of the words. C, 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 that would be the three C's that we see. For them, it makes more of an S sound. It doesn't make a K sound. So it's SSS. And then instead of the letter that looks like P for us, for them makes the R sound. So it's R. So SSSR.
SSSR.
SSSR. Yes, not CCCP.
Можно оливье салат, пожалуйста? Да. Спасибо. We're at Moo Cafe. I've been here many times before in this video series, but I've never really talked about it that much. And the best thing to think of in this video that we're doing, if let's say you're an American, is I would compare these restaurants to where you might go for lunch on your lunch break. So this is what you would want to think of. How does this compare to where you have lunch in the middle of your workday for where we go today? This is Olivier salad. It is like potato salad in America, but it has pickles and chicken in it as well. Roughly, you can make it different ways. And this is something that Russians have for New Year especially. Kind of like Thanksgiving stuffing in America. You're not going to have that every day. You're going to have it for special occasions. This is the wrapped blini that we've seen at other restaurants. Very popular in America, the thin crepey pancake. This one's stuffed with chicken. And this is called sulanka, which is a pickled cabbage, like pickles, like a pickled cabbage salad with carrots in it. And I did not want to get beer on the second restaurant of our journey today, but it was 2 for 1, 180 rubles. That is super cheap. And this is Grenki. I like this a lot. It's one of my favorites in Russian. It is dark bread, like a rye bread, and they cut it into sticks and you fry it in oil and salt. Very tasty. It's meant to be something you have with beer.
I forgot we were making a video, and I already took a bite of my Grenki. But I don't need to tell you guys, Grenki's good, it's delicious. It's fried bread and salt. What's not to like? Like he said, I'm not going to try the vegetable stuff. I've had it before, so, not my cup of tea. Oh, tea isn't my cup of tea either, though. But I will try this chicken blini, because I do like meat, and it is wrapped, again, in bread. Let me put this down. I also took a sip of the beer already. It's alright. Light beer to me is mostly the same. I prefer a medovuha or mead. But let's try this.
I think it's a Russian beer, actually.
Tastes the same. But this is good. I'm probably going to get a lot of comments saying that beer tastes different. All light beer tastes the same.
Okay, first up, the Olivier salad. I'm eating it with a fork. I don't remember if I'm supposed to eat it with a fork or a spoon. My wife is always correcting me. Sorry if I'm getting it wrong. Very good. I already knew I liked it. Again, Americans or people in the West who don't know about this, just imagine potato salad with chicken and pickles in it and little cubed carrots and peas. So it's something that you could make at home. I actually prefer to do mine with sour cream instead of mayonnaise just because I think it's a little bit healthier. This is really good for you, I hear. The pickled cabbage. And so that must be like a ground chicken. This, of course, I already know is good. Perfectly, just a little too oily. very good. And that, of course, will have to be the end of the video now. No, I'm just kidding.
The sign of where we just ate looks like my to an English speaker, but again, the alphabet's a little different, the sounds they make. So the letter that looks like Y to us makes the oo sound, which is why it's called, you know, moo moo, M-U-M-U.
We're going down underground on the metro. We are leaving the famous Arbatskaya Street. We're going to go into the center, which is not Josiah's favorite place, and we're going to try to find a special drink that I hear you can only buy in the center. We are now done with Moo Moo, which is the sound a cow makes, the famous Russian food Bistro Moo Moo restaurant.
МЦД, автобусами КМ и наземным транспортом.
The restaurants that we're going to today are restaurants that Russians told me in the comments on our fast food video that Josiah and I did. Why don't you go to these places? But the restaurants they suggested were not technically fast food restaurants. They weren't sit down, be waited on restaurants either. So these are restaurants that are like in the middle, which is why we're calling them bistros, which is what they are. A quick bite to eat, like a lunch restaurant. Not fast food, which would be cheaper and quicker, and not sitting down having a waiter wait on you, which would be more expensive and longer. You see this behind me? Looks like the walls of Red Square. It is, I don't know if it is or not, but it's right next to it. I think it's made to look like the walls of Red Square. Red Square is right on the other side. It's a nice castle-looking restaurant that I ate at in the video What's Beyond Red Square with Aurora, famous guest star of this channel. And oddly enough, that video has not gotten a lot of views. So if you haven't seen that video yet and you're a subscriber, you should check it out. It's a fun video of Aurora and I, a young adult девушка, that means young girl, young woman, running around the city just outside of Red Square, seeing other sights beyond the actual Red Square center that you see in the news all the time. We are at Chocolatnitsa, which is a cafe that I've been to many times. It's a chain all over Moscow. I've been to this place in the video series. And I heard that they got started off a special chocolatey coffee type raspberry drink. And the drink is actually kind of expensive, so much so, this is what I heard, that after they grew and they had chains all over Moscow, they stopped serving the drink except in the center. So we have come to the center to order the drink. Josiah just ordered one for me and one for him. And guess what? They told him, no, you can get that drink anywhere. So leave a comment if you're a Russian and if you know if this drink is actually special and if we've come to a special location or not. I think he said it was 270 rubles a piece. So we'll see what it's like. And I will wake myself up a little bit because I just had a beer and now I'll have a coffee. Which, as a health person, I assume that's not the best idea to have a beer which brings you down and then a coffee which brings you up. But for this video, I will make this sacrifice for you guys. What you reading there, Josiah?
I'm reading On the Tarantulas. It's a chapter of Thus Spoke Zarathustra by Nietzsche.
Frederick Nietzsche.
Frederick Nietzsche, yes.
Oh, so you're not a dumb person.
I don't think I'm very dumb. I'm not super smart either.
Well, if you're reading Frederick Nietzsche for fun, I think that puts you in a upper tier classification.
Thank
so
you.
How's the drink?
Well, it's better than the coffee machine at home, that's for sure. But I don't know if I'd go out of my way to buy it every morning.
Tastes good to me. So it's coffee with, is this like some sort of caramel Gushanka bark?
That's what it looks like, but I thought that it had some sort of a jam, a berry jam inside of it. At least when I ordered it, that's what I thought. I can't taste it though, so maybe not. Maybe I was confused.
Okay. It's tasty, but it's very gummy. Like, you absolutely have to floss your teeth after eating this. Drinking it. Is this a bistro or are we off topic?
Well, I think this particular location is more of a cafe that you might grab a snack at, but I've been to other chocolatnitzas, and those are usually bistros. You've got eggs, sausage, various meals that you can sit down and eat. That said, they're a little pricier than your average bistro, so it's probably more of a higher class type thing.
So that drink translates to chocolate praline coffee at Chocolatnitsa. We are underground again, just like in the first restaurant. The second restaurant, Mumu, we were above ground. We had to go one level up. So if you're from New York City or London, that's probably pretty common for you. Not common for me because I'm from a small town. And now we're going to head to our last destination. It is -8 degrees Celsius tonight, so if you're worried about my head and my lack of hat, it's actually not that cold. Not at all that cold compared to the last video with Alex. We are back on the Moscow City Walk. I don't mean to be in the center so much, but the center has a lot of cool places, and when I'm searching for things to do and places to go, a lot of times I'm directed back to the center.
At GUM, the first thing you see when you go in the entrance is moroznaya, ice cream. It's really famous. Every time I've come here with a Russian, they've always said, "Oh, Josiah, you gotta try this ice cream. It's fantastic. It's delicious. It's GUM's ice cream." It's not that great. Sorry, Russians, but I don't know. It's not very good. But hey, if you're in Moscow, you should still try it. It's not too expensive either.
So I've actually never eaten that ice cream before, Josiah, and now thanks to your review, I probably still will. This is a movie theater in the mall with a nice cafe to order drinks.
I think they're expecting us to get aside too.
All right, for our final stop, what's the name of this place, Josiah?
Stolova number 57. I don't know where the other 56 are.
Again, recommended
by Russians in the comments. Aside from Shokoladitsa, these 3 places we went to were recommended. And it's January. Again, I've said before, January they celebrate the holidays in Russia. More of a December-January thing as opposed to an America November-December thing. And out the window I see more old famous buildings. And what do we got here, Josiah?
So we both got kartoshka. When I asked what the traditional Russian foods are that they have here, they pointed out a few things. In terms of side, they pointed at the grechka, but we had that earlier. So I decided to go with potatoes. I don't know if a Russian would say that potato is a Russian food, but Americans have a stereotype. Potatoes are a very Russian thing. I mean, you guys make alcohol out of it, so.
Sveta says that potatoes are a Russian thing, my wife. This type of potato. So much so that when you go to McDonald's now, and even when it was McDonald's, they would serve these as well as French fries. You would have a choice with your hamburger and Coca-Cola. Would you have kartoshka-free French fries, or do you want this? How would you say this in Russian?
I don't know, I always get kartoshka-free. I'm American. In addition to the sides, I got a cutlet here, which, I mean, it's a fairly universal thing. You just piece together some meat covered in a little bit of dough. It's just specifically called a cutlet in Russia here, and it's more like a circle. Here, let me show you. You already took a bite of it. So.
I think that's a piece of chicken.
It is, yeah, a cutlet. It's pieces of chicken that were molded into a ball and then wrapped in breading.
Well, that is a breast. But there are other cutlets that are ground meat.
I guess you would know better. I eat everything fried.
It's very popular in Russia to have what they call a cutlet. So it's a formed piece of meat or a breaded piece of meat. And Sveta makes them almost every night from different animals in different shapes and flavors. And what about this? Do you know what this is? It's some sort of fish.
It is pink salmon with carrots and I think either onion or cabbage put on top of it. It's just salmon.
Okay.
They have a fair amount of seafood here, but not a crazy amount. I'll be taking this.
And what we got is what the kitchen recommended from this Russian bistro.
For the Russians, I did specifically say, "Мы туристы, мы хотим русский блюд," or русский блюда, which is we're tourists, we want Russian food. And this is what they said. So no getting mad at us for picking random food.
Okay, so what do you think of Russian bistros? How do they compare to lunch establishments in your city? Click like, click subscribe, ring the bell notification, click the box to see what's happening next. And also don't forget, we are on VK under the name Joseph Rose if you want to look us up there and see some photos of us. And please click the share button right now before this video ends and send this to some of your friends. We want to let the world know that Russia is at least a normal place. And if you like this video and you're thinking, wow, Russia is cool, send it on to your friends and let the West know.
If we hit at least 50,000 likes on this video, I will glue Joe's hat to his head.
That's not a bad idea to, get views, but do I really want to subject myself to that?
It's really cold out. We should probably hit that.